Hare Krishna. So Dandot pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. We will do 5 minutes Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll go ahead with the class. Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jai Shri Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Shri Gopala Jai Jai Shri Radha Ramana Hare Govinda 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 Jai Jai Shri Govinda Jai Jai Shri Gopala Jai Jai Shri Radha Ramana Hare Govinda 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 Jai Jai Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Gurudev Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai Shri Shri Radha Raman ji ki jai Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for the Brahma Samhita session. Today we have our wonderful speaker, Her Grace Sita Rani Mataji. So we welcome Mataji for enlightening us about this beautiful verse from Brahma Samhita and the transcendental purport by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you. Dandavat pranams.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I know I'm not worthy of speaking about such a complex topic such as Brahma Samhita, but I will try my best for my purification, for the glorification of Lord Brahma, glorification of Lord Sri Krishna, and for getting the mercy of all the devotees. I would like to share whatever I have read, whatever I have heard, whatever I could understand a little bit. I will like to present it today. So we'll start with a small prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhisham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kupa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So, we all know the difficult shlokas of this Brahma Samhita, how difficult they are to understand, to grasp. We all have been going through that. We have already finished up to 22 shlokas. Today we are we'll be going through the 23rd shloka. So yes, Brahma Samhita is very difficult to understand unless you understand it through some authorized person, through Guru Shishya Parampara. You cannot understand it. So even for me to prepare for this session, to give something back to you, it was really very difficult to assimilate it in my mind, go through various lectures, go through the different tikas, from Jiva Goswami, from Srila Prabhupada, from other authors. And then only it is possible to speak a little bit about what Brahmaji is trying to say over here, or even before what Brahmaji said. So there are everywhere in any of the philosophy across our scriptures, whenever we read some philosophy, whenever we try to understand some philosophy, any shloka, any purport, any translation, when we try to understand, there are two aspects behind that. First is what is there in that shloka. Means it is about a person, it is about the glorification of the Lord, it is about some dialogue between two people, whatever it is. Okay, so what is there in that particular shloka? That is the first aspect. And the second is what I can take from that. So which is the more important? Both are important, but to make spiritual progress, the second part is very, very important for us. For what? What is given in that shloka and what I can take back home, how I can implement that shloka or the teachings of that shloka in my life, so that I can be more stable in my bhakti, so that I can start the process of devotional service actually, so that I can also get some mercy of the Lord. So therefore, understanding the shloka from my point of view, from my application point of view, is also very important. So in this particular sessions of Brahma Samhita, according to me, knowing why Brahmaji went through this thing, what Brahmaji is thinking, what he is saying, how he is glorifying, in our today's shloka, how Brahmaji is bewildered, this is one point of understanding. But the same thing, when we apply in our life, it becomes very important to understand the some very very deep aspects of devotional service. Okay, so we'll try to understand as much as possible from the second point of view, of the application point of view of the shloka. So this is the 22nd shloka, which is already covered yesterday. So from 22nd to 28, this section of shlokas is how Brahmaji is born, how he gets bewildered, how because of the mercy of the Lord, he gets that, the guidance of what to do. Then how he goes into austerity, and then how he realizes the Supreme Person, and then how he is doing the different prayers. Up to 28, this is all about Brahmaji. And then from 29th shloka, the actual Brahma Samhita, which we recite every day, that will start after the 29th shloka, from the 29th shloka. So that is why just I'm taking the help of the 22nd shloka to start for the 23rd shloka. So in the yesterday's 22nd shloka, we have already seen, Mataji has very nicely explained about the jivas, about how the lotus sprouts from from the navel of Vishnu, and what is Chaturvedi and Chaturmukhi Brahma. Okay, so we'll just read the translation and we'll go ahead. So yes, so yesterday's translation is: the divine lotus, which springs from the navel pit of Vishnu, is in every way related by the spiritual tie with all souls, and is the origin of four-faced Brahma versed in the four Vedas. The Chaturmukhi Brahma, who is a Chaturvedi Brahma, that the base for that, the place for his birth takes place in the form of a lotus flower, which arises from the navel pit of Vishnu, and which is also the base for all living entities. Just as every child is connected to his mother through that Nala, we say, no, that thing. So similarly, we all are connected to the Lord through Brahmaji only, because he is the ultimate person who is there for, who is the person who is doing all the secondary creation for Mahavishnu. Okay, so therefore we all, or this lotus flower which springs to the navel of Vishnu, is the point of connection for all the jivas with the Lord. Okay, so now, yes, so in the last sloka, it has been told that this lotus flower springs out, it comes out. Okay, and now Brahmaji is coming on that, means taking birth on that top of that lotus flower. Let us see today's generation. Maybe you devotees can raise the hands. Please repeat after me. So these shlokas are a little bit tedious, not like CC shlokas or general Bhagavatam shlokas. So let us repeat and say it thrice. Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you can be the first one to recite.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya.
Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya.
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha.
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha.
Sisrikshayam Matim Chakre.
Shishrikshayam Matim Chakre.
Purva Samskara Samskritaha.
Purva Samskara Samskritaha.
Dadarsha Kevalam Dvantam. Mataji, 6 lines are there. Dadarsha Kevalam Dvantam.
Dhadarsha Kevalam Dvantam.
Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha.
Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha.
Thank you, Mataji. Somebody else? Prashanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya.
Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya.
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha.
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha.
Sisrikshayam Matim Chakre.
Sisrikshayam Matim Chakre.
Purva Samskara Samskritaha.
Purva Samskara Samskritaha.
Dadarsha Kevalam Dvantam.
ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तम्
नान्यत् किम् अपि सर्वतः.
नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji. Swati Mataji, you can recite. Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya
सञ्जातो भगवत्शक्त्या
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha
तत्कालं शीलचोदितः
Shisrikshayam Matim Chakre
सुशिक्षां मतिं चक्रे
Purva Samskara Samskritaha
पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः
Tadarsha Kevalam Dvantam
ददर्शं केवलं द्वान्त्वम्
Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha.
नान्यत् किम् अपि सर्वतः.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Medhavini Mataji, you can recite. Medhavini Mataji, you have raised your hand. Okay, maybe she's not there. Yes, so.
Mataji, sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize.
Okay, okay. Yes, Mataji, please go.
Right. Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya Tatkalam Kila Choditaha Sishrikshayam Matim Chakre Purva Samskara Samskritaha Tadarsha Kevalam Dvantam Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol, Dandavat Mataji. Yes, okay. Krishnamurti Prabhuji, you want to recite?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktya
Sanjato Bhagavacchaktya
Tatkalam Kila Choditaha
Tatkalam Kela Choditaha
Sisrikshayam Matim Chakre
Sisrikshayam Matim Chakre
Purva Samskara Samskritaha
Purva Samskara Samskritaha
Dadarsha Kevalam Dvantam
Dadarsha Kevalam Dvantam
Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha.
Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha. Hare Krishna
Thank you,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Okay, maybe the last one, Suprabha Sumitra Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी
Dandavat pranam.
संजातो भगवत् शक्त्या तत्कालं किल चोदितः श्रीस्रक्षायं मतिं चक्रे पूर्व संस्कार संस्कृतः ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तं नान्यत् किमपि सर्वथा. हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes. So this particular shloka is telling, we are not yet reading the synonyms. We'll read it soon. So this particular shloka is about how Brahmaji takes his birth on the lotus flower. Okay. So yes, so the birth of Brahma, his activities of Brahmaji is how he is annihilated, how he goes back to Mahavishnu. Everything is very much important. Okay. So let us read the synonyms first. Shobha Mataji, you have raised the hand.
Hare Krishna Mataji, synonyms. Sri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sanjata, on being born. Bhagavat Shakya, by the divine potency. Tat Khalam, at that time. Kila, indeed. Chotita, being guided. Srikshayam, to the act of creation. Matim, his mind. Chakre, tuned. Purva Samskara Samskrita, under the impulse of previous impressions. Dadarsha, he saw. Kevalam, only. Dvantam, darkness. Na, not. Anyat, else. Kim api, anything. Sarvata, in every direction. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Yes. So if you see, so difficult shlokas also, even Bhagavatam, some shlokas are very difficult. But when we recite them again and again, we get used to it. So just today itself, by singing this shloka, by reciting this shloka multiple times, we find it little bit easy. Is it not? So the Sanskrit is so melodious, it's so sweet, that by reciting so many things again and again, it becomes habitual to our tongue, and it gives a very relishing feeling in our heart. Okay, so very important aspect of here in this shloka is Bhagavad Shaktya. That is by the divine potency. Now, the birth of Brahmaji is not just like any normal baby is born. Yes, a normal baby, the mother takes so much pain. She has to go to the labor pain, and then she delivers the baby, and then the baby is crying for such a long time, and it takes so many years to grow and all. But the birth of Brahmaji is not like that. Yes, Brahmaji's birth is very divine. Birth of Brahmaji happens because of the mercy of the Lord. He comes out of the navel of Lord Vishnu. So he is such a pure soul. He is such a pure entity, but he is in the mood of passion because he has to create. Yes, if Brahmaji is completely in the Sattva Guna, he won't be able to create anything. He will renounce everything, and just as many of his children got renounced and they became sannyasis and they started taking Harinam and they went back to Godhead. So Brahmaji couldn't do that. So that's why Brahmaji was kept in the mode of passion so that he can do the creation for the Lord. Okay, because it was the will of the Lord to create the material world, to create so many entities. So he appointed Brahmaji. And how to appoint some entity? So first that entity has to come into existence. Therefore, directly Brahmaji comes into existence on the lotus flower. And by the will of this divine potency, Bhagavad Shaktya, Tat Kalam, indeed at that time, being Kila Choditaha. Kila Chodita means indeed he was being guided. So what did Brahmaji do after coming on the lotus flower? He was guided by the divine potency to create the entire universe, to create all the material world, to create the jivas, to create so many different entities in the living world, living in this material world. Okay, so the Brahmaji was guided by the divine potency of the Lord. How he was guided will come in the subsequent shlokas, because in this shloka, Brahmaji comes into the existence and he gets bewildered. How he gets bewildered, let us see in the translation. So somebody has raised a hand for reading the translation. Yes, please raise your hand. Okay, Medhavini Mataji, some Prabhuji has or Mataji has given the number in the chat. Please add her to the group for Brahma Samhita. Yes, Mataji, we will surely do that. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. So, Sudha Mataji, you may read the translation.
Mataji, I don't have it in the comment chat. Has she sent to you directly, personal chat?
Yeah, maybe I will send it to you after some time, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Or Mataji, you can directly send the chat to Medhavini Mataji. She will take care. Suprabha Mataji. Okay. Yes.
Hare
Sudha
Krishna
Mataji,
Mataji.
please read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, tuned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions. But he could see nothing but darkness in every direction. Hare Krishna.
So what happened, Brahmaji, once he took his birth, okay, he was sitting on the lotus flower. When he opened his eye, he saw, where am I? I'm sitting on the lotus flower. Where is this lotus flower coming from? He does not know. What is all around? He does not know. What he was seeing? Nothing. He could see nothing because everything was dark all around him. So Brahmaji got bewildered. All right, what is this? Where am I? What am I doing here? Why I have come here? Who am I, first of all? Yeah. So what Brahmaji was doing? He was having many questions in his mind. And those questions about, just as I said, who am I? From where I have come? Why I have come here? What is the purpose of my life? This everything is called as Brahma Jigyasa. Okay. So just as now again, the learning point for us. So Brahmaji got bewildered knowing that what is this darkness? I'm suddenly appeared onto this lotus flower and I don't know anything what is going on around. There is nobody I can see. There is no activity going on around me. It is just all darkness on all four sides of my body. All the sides of my body, it is just darkness. So he got bewildered. And when he got bewildered, then he got so many questions. Now just imagine that if Brahmaji appeared on the lotus flower, and when he appeared, there is all illumination. There is all the apsaras are singing, some apsaras are dancing, some drums are playing, There is nice functions, some celebration going on. Everywhere there is so much joy, happiness is going on. Would Brahmaji have got these questions about who am I and what is the purpose of my life? No. If he would have got so many things around him, he would have been engrossed in enjoying those things. The same thing is happening with us. So when we take birth in this material world, we see, oh, this material world is so beautiful. My life is so beautiful. My life, I'm so happy in my life. I have got, when you are a child, I have good parents, I have good house. When you grow up, I have good job, I have a good wife, I have a good husband. And when you grow old, oh, I have so much caretaking children. So if there is everything good in your life going on, we are not concerned about our spiritual aspect. We are not concerned about the Lord. We are not concerned about what actually is the purpose of my life. Why did I get this human form of life? So unless you get tired of the material world, and to get tired from that material world, you should actually think how this material is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam. When you will know that this material world is really a dukkhalayam, even if you are a small nail gets cut half into the skin, it pains. And that small cutting of that nail also gives you so much tremendous pain. So there is some accident, you get pain. Some near one dies, you get pain. Some you get a big loss in your business, you get pain. So unless there is some pain in your life, we don't understand, or we don't realize, or we don't even try to think about the other aspect of our life. Okay, but yes, the sooner we understand that this material world is not a place of happiness, this material world is just a place of dukkhalayam, just a place of misery, till that point we will not try to understand the Brahma Jigyasa part, that who am I? 3 questions. Who am I? From where I have come? And what is the purpose of my life? Just as Brahmaji did. Okay, there is a small paragraph I would like to read. Somebody can read it for me, where it is the purpose. Actually, it is in one of the class of Srila Prabhupada. He has mentioned about Brahma Jigyasa. So small thing I will just like to share. Maybe somebody can read it. Yes, somebody is raising hand for this.
Hare Krishna Mataji, shall I?
Yes, please read. Yes. This is when Prabhupada was giving lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 10th shloka. In that particular this thing, he has mentioned this about Brahma Jigyasa. Yes, Mataji, please read.
Yes, Mataji. There is sufficient concession for our sense gratification, but we should not forget our real business of life. Atato Brahma Jignasa. This Brahma Jignasa is explained here as Tattva Jignasa, the same thing. Jivasya Tattva Jignasa. This human life, Atato Brahma Jignasa, means this human life is made for inquiring about the absolute truth. Just like Sanatana Goswami, he inquired from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ke Ami Kene Ammaya Jare Tapa Kaya. Who am I? This is also Brahma Jignasa. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So Prabhupada is mentioning about Brahma Jigyasa or Tattva Jigyasa. So in that particular shloka, the word comes as Tattva Jigyasa. So he's talking about Tattva Jigyasa, but it is one and the same. The inquiry about the Supreme Personality of God. Who am I? I am the part and parcel of Lord Krishna. From where I have come? I have come from the spiritual world. I have come from the abode of Lord Sri Krishna. What is the purpose of my life? The purpose of my life is to just go back, serve Lord Krishna, make him happy, do devotional service, and go back to God and go to my eternal place from where I have come back. That is my purpose of life. So one should, Prabhupada is saying, we should not forget our real business of life. In our day-to-day life, there are sufficient things around us which can make us bewildered, which can make us drag away from the spiritual life. Yes, there are movies, there are songs, there are Instagram, there is Facebook, there are so many things around us which if we get entangled into those things, we will never remember Lord Krishna. We will never try to do Brahma Jigyasa. So Prabhupada is saying there are so many concessions for our life, for our sense gratification, but we should not forget our real business. What is our real business? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Knowing about the connection with our Lord. What is the Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana? Okay, that is the main thing which is required to be understood. Yes, so this is what is our, so yeah, so the first learning point for today's session is that knowing that who am I. So unless we, the sooner we understand that I am in a miserable state, the sooner we understand that this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvata, I have to very soon, as early as possible, get out of this material world. Unless we understand this particular fact, we will not do Brahma Jigyasa. And if we do not do Brahma Jigyasa, there is no progress in our spiritual life. If there is no progress in our spiritual life, we cannot even try to achieve what is our real benefit? Krishna Prem. So that Krishna Prem, mercy of Sri Krishna will never be achieved if we are not inclined to do devotional service in that way. Okay. Yes. So let us read, go ahead. Yes. So here, one more word is very important, and that is, just 1 minute. Yeah, that is Purva Samskara Samskritaha. If you see this, Purva Samskara Samskritaha, that is under the impulse of previous impressions. Now, this translation, it says, on coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, tuned his, basically this part, tuned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions. Okay, now his mind was tuned to something. What is that something? To create. To create what? The material world, to create the different jivas, living entities, a good surrounding for them, all the pros and cons of their life, everything, the situations in their life. Brahmaji has to create everything. Okay, now to create this, now look at the scenario, he is on that lotus flower, he is all alone, everything is dark around him, he does not know what to do, but somehow in his mind, because of the previous impressions of his previous kalpa, of his previous birth or previous day, at the end of every kalpa, there is a annihilation, pralaya. So whatever Brahmaji has created, that all goes into the water, into Mahavishnu. And again, on the next day of Brahmaji, he has to, early morning, maybe just as yesterday Mataji said, at the Brahma Muhurta, he is ready to do the creation once again. Again, he comes on the lotus flower. Again, he has to, this kalpa is when after the death of Brahmaji in the previous kalpa. Okay, so now because of his previous life impressions, he knows that I have some job to do over here. That is creation. That creation part is not yet clear, but he knows that I have to do something. There is some purpose of my life. There is something which I have to do. Okay, so this is what Brahmaji is thinking. This is the philosophical aspect. Now again, our practical aspect, the second thing, Purva Samskara Samskritaha, the impressions of the previous birth. This is very important. Now there are two things which we can carry from our previous birth. The two things which we can carry, first is samskaras, second is vasana. Two things we are able to carry. Our riches, whatever we had collected large amount of riches, we cannot carry in the next birth. Our mother, father, our children, we cannot carry. Your gold, your very lovely clothes, your beautiful hair, you cannot carry. You cannot carry all these material things into the next life. But what you can carry? The impressions. Impressions means what? Just like if there is a pot, a utensil is there, a steel utensil is there, and you hammer that steel utensil very hard, there will be a impression on that steel utensil. That impression never goes. Okay, that bump, that will never go in from that particular utensil. It always remains over there. So however you use that utensil, that bump inside that utensil is always there. Like that, whatever samskaras are happening in our life, has happened in our life in the previous birth, those remain impressed, or you can say carved on our subtle body, on our mind, which we carry forward in our next birth. This is very important. Okay, now you may try to understand or you may try to recollect some of the points like this. Sometimes some people in their life are always afraid of water. Very, very, very good friend of mine. She never puts her leg in the sea water or in the river. If we are even going to the banks of the river, she will stay far away. She will not put her leg in the water. She says, I'm very much afraid of water. Some people are very much afraid of heights. It's nothing that it has never happened in their life that sometimes in their childhood they fell down. That is why they are afraid of the height, or they have seen something dangerous. That is why they are afraid. No, but from their birth itself, they are afraid of height. Yeah, so there are so many like this incidences or different impressions which we carry forward from the previous life. The person who is afraid of going towards the water, maybe in the previous life of that person, something like that must have happened, due to which that person is afraid in this life. A person who is afraid of height, something must have happened in his previous birth, because of which that person is afraid of height, and many such other things. So, and this is one part, but the samskaras which are happening, they also remain in the next life. Just like you see many children, when you see at a very tender age, they learn to sing the Bhagavad Gita, recite the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita very easily. You don't need to take much effort. You are singing Bhagavad Gita shlokas, they are singing along with you, and 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 recitations, they are perfect in their singing. Yeah, some different Vishnu Sahasranam is there, Rama Raksha Stotra is there, Ganesha Stotra is there. So many different things. These children will grasp them as if they know it already, like that. And for some children, it is very difficult to teach them. No matter how many times you tell them to do to recite, to learn, they are never able to learn those shlokas. Why this happens? What is the difference? Sometimes we see for the same parent, 2 different children are there. One is very much inclined in spirituality. The other person is not at all inclined in spirituality. One person, you just tell them, beta, every day, in the morning, you should offer jal to Tulsi and do pradakshina. You tell them once, every day they will follow. Mummy, you have told me to do, I'm doing it every day. Or even if they don't say it, the mother can see, I told him to do it just one time, and he's doing it daily. And the other child, she's telling, beta, come with me, offer jal, do pradakshina, I will be with you. The time mother leaves, the next day, this person will not do anything. So what is the difference? The difference is the same thing. The samskaras which are happened to the positive child in his previous birth, they remain with the child, and the other child may not have got that particular samskaras in his birth. So that is why now again the takeaway point is, what samskaras are we doing in this life upon ourselves, upon our children, upon our grandchildren, upon anybody around us? Those samskaras are going to remain with them in their next life. So, many times a child of a Brahmana, that child of a Brahmana is very inclined to do Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dan, Pratigra. These 6 qualities, these 6 things are the qualities of the Brahmana. Patan, they recite, they study the scriptures, they teach the scriptures. Yajan, they perform yajna, they make others perform yajna. And Dan, Pratigra, they accept whatever dana you are giving, and they give out whatever extra is there with them. So these 6 qualities, basic qualities of Brahmana, are directly seen within some boys. Why? Because those qualities may be in their previous life, they are from the house of a Brahmana, where all these rituals are taking place daily. He has gone through those things in his entire life, and that is why he has carried them forward. So it is the responsibility of each and every person to make our children, to make our family members Krishna conscious, so that even if... Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji. You are audible.
Because it is giving me the... Yeah, I'm getting a message that your speaker is not... Okay. It's okay.
Mataji, one doubt, Mataji. What is the difference between samskara and vasana?
Yes, I will come to that point. I'm telling about the samskaras right now. I will also tell about the vasanas. Okay. So Yeah, so it is that what I was saying is that it is the responsibility of each and every person to do these samskaras, so that even if this is not the last birth of your children, maybe they have to take a rebirth. Then because of these samskaras, we are making it clear the path that in at least in the next birth, they will get a human form of life. In the next birth, they will get a human form of life in a very good family, maybe a devotee family, maybe a very rich aristocratic family who are inclined towards devotion. And so that all the difficulties in his next birth also are reduced, and he can completely focus on his spiritual life. And as soon as possible, as early as possible, our children can also go back to Godhead. Same thing applies for us also. The more and the sooner we do these samskaras on ourselves, yeah, whatever it is, whatever Prabhupada has given, all the A, B, C, D, that these are the samskaras Prabhupada has given us. A is for association, associate with the devotees. B is for book reading. We should read Prabhupada books. We should read all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Not only read, understand them and imply them in your own life. C is for chanting, the most essential thing in our life, to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And D is for diet or deity worship. So take only prasad. Do deity worship as much as possible. If you don't have Karcha Vigraha at home, you can even do the deity worship of a photo. Sri Krishna, Radha Krishna's photo. That is also called as deity worship. So all these four aspects, these are the samskaras which we are making on ourselves. We are carving our heart. We are carving our soul. So that even if we couldn't make it back to Godhead in this life, at least we are assured that because we are doing good samskaras on us, just as Krishna says, at the end of the life, whatever you remember, you will get the same. So if you have these samskaras, if you are doing chanting, if you are remembering the Lord, the next life, you will again get a devotee life, of a life of a human being who is a devotee. So that is how this Brahmaji's incidents also teaches us so many things. So this is the first thing what I told, that samskaras. We carry with us our samskaras. Even I remember some one or two examples where some children from their birth, they are, just as I said, they will recite different shlokas and all. There was one musician, what was his name? Mozart. If you remember, he was from Switzerland or something. Mozart. At the age of 4, he was composing music. From the age of 4, he had a very short life. Okay, he lived, I think, only for 34-35 years. But from the age of 4, he started composing music which was very high level, which was everyone was astonished to see how such a small child was composing music at the age of 4, like that. Even in our India, Shri Pandit Ravi Shankar, who is a sitar player. So he, in one of his introductory message for his albums, he had mentioned, I have just heard, I have not read or I have not heard him personally. Through some other sessions, I have heard this, that Pandit Ravi Shankar, he says, I have obtained the perfection of playing this sitar because I have been practicing for 11 previous births. So maybe he remembers that from the previous 11 births, he's been practicing to play sitar, and in this life, he has perfected to play that particular sitar. So whatever samskaras are happening in the previous life, yes, they get carried forward in the next life. It is for sure. Just as I said, somebody is afraid, somebody is a very good singer, somebody is very inclined to spirituality, and so many other things we can see, we can observe, and we can say that, yes, these are the previous life incidences. In our class, some of you are already attending our Chaitanya Charitamrita sessions. So if you remember, just till the month of May, when before the break, that small girl, now I forgot her name, 10 years child, she was attending every day Chaitanya Charitamrita class.
Manasvi Mataji.
Yes, Manasvi. I want to know why she's not coming back. So Manasvi, she is just a 10-year-old child. She is reciting this all CC shlokas so wonderfully. She's already doing Bhakti Shastri in some institute, and she's learning so many different things. She's also already learning Atharva Veda or some Veda. She's also studying the Vedas also. So this is all because of the previous birth impressions. Okay, so we have to cultivate them now in our life also, and in the life of our children. This is about the sanskaras. Now let us come to vasana. Vasana is the exactly opposite of the sanskaras. Whatever we meditate on, the things which we are meditating on for our sense gratification, the material desires. If we are very much attached to those material desires, those impressions get embossed in our mind also, and those impressions also we carry forward in our next birth. Just like one very nice example is of King Puranjana, which happens in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very long chapter and very detailed chapter description is given about King Puranjana. But I will tell you it in very short, that this King Puranjana is very, 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 very attached to his wife. So much so that he will sit when his wife sits. He will, once his wife stands up, he will also stand up. The queen will eat something, the king will also eat something. The queen goes to sleep, then only the king will go to sleep. The queen goes through one door, the king will go behind her through that door. Whatever the queen is doing, the king is repeating. He is following her. He's so much attached to the queen. And all so much so, he's so much what you can say, over attached to everything that belonged to the queen. He's always thinking of the queen, always thinking of the queen, so much so that after his death, in the second life, he gets the birth of a lady, a birth of a woman who is like all his these things, like the queen of his previous life queen. Okay, so if we are attached so much to something, we will get the body of that particular form. Even there is one shloka in the 11th canto. I will like to again present that shloka for you. Let us just go through that. It's a very small shloka, but it's very teaching, right? This is from the 11th canto, 9th chapter, 29th shloka. Kita pesha krutam dhyayan pudyam tena praveshitaha yati tat satmatam rajan purva rupam asantyajan. Okay, so this says that, O king, once a wasp forced a weaker insect to enter his hive and keep him trapped there. In great fear, the weak insect constantly meditated upon his capture, and without giving up his body, he gradually achieved the same state of existence as the wasp. Thus, one achieves a state of existence according to one's constant concentration. So this is a story where a big bug, a wasp, he captures a small insect, and just like honeycombs, he has his own house like a honeycomb, and he puts that insect into that house, and this insect, and that insect is trapped in his house, maybe with some sticky thing or something. He has tied him in his house, and every now and then when that wasp is coming to him, this little insect is very much afraid. Now he's going to kill me. Now he's going to kill me. And he's so much thinking of this wasp. Every now and then he looks at the wasp and he's thinking, oh, he's such a big one. Oh, he's such a very big insect. Oh, how he will cut me into pieces. Oh, how he will eat me. And he's observing all his minute. How are his legs? How are his tentacles? How are his antennas? Whatever he has, all the things, he's meditating so much that in the same life, he starts believing that I am also a wasp. And in the next life, he gets the body of the wasp. So this is vasana. So if we are overly attached to something, if something material becomes very dear to us, we get the body of that particular thing. Very classic example. Can somebody tell me who is that classic example from Bhagavatam?
Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj.
Yes, Bharat Maharaj. So he was so attached to the deer. All his initial days, initial years, he has been a very good devotee of Lord. A very sincere devotee. He leaves all the entire kingdom and all. He goes to the forest for meditation. He's totally determined to do meditation on the Lord. But at the end of his life, he gets attached to a small deer, baby deer. So much attached to the deer that again he gets the life of the deer. So this is vasana. So there are two things again, samskaras and vasanas. Now what we carry ahead with us depends on us. So that how we can see that we are not carrying the vasanas and we are carrying the samskaras? Can somebody tell? I will present this question again. How can we confirm or make sure that we are not carrying the vasanas with us, but we are carrying the samskaras with us in our next life? How can we make
controlling our senses and using it in the service of the Lord? Rishikesha.
Okay, yes, by controlling the senses and engaging them in the service of the Lord. Very nice. Yes. And when can we engage the senses in the service? I was hearing to one Maharaja's lecture. His Holiness Mahanidhi Swami Maharaj. So he was saying, he just gave a joke. We meditate a lot. We think that no, I should have a very good service attitude, very good service. He's praying, a person, a devotee of Lord Krishna. From the early morning when he's doing his japa, at the back of his mind, he's saying, I need to do some service for the Lord. I need to do some service for the Lord. He's chanting. Back of the mind, he's thinking, yes, I have to serve the Lord. I have to serve the Lord. Then he finishes his chanting. He does the Mangalarti. He does so many, he sits for Bhagavatam class. He's at the back of the mind, he's saying, yes, I need some service to do. I need some service to do. And everything is over now. Some person, some senior devotee comes and says, Prabhuji, please, plate washing ka seva hai. Please come. And that time he says, oh no, Prabhuji, from the morning I've been chanting, Mangalarti, Bhagavatam class, this, that. Now I am so hungry, I have to go and eat. This is my prasadam time. Sorry, Prabhuji, please engage somebody in that plate washing seva. I have to go and take my prasad. So we are meditating, but ultimately we are not doing the service when the time for doing that service comes. This is of no use. Yeah, this is of no use. So yes, this may happen in the initial days, but our determination, our service attitude will determine that whether we are really doing that service. But yes, this is a very good point that rendering devotional service to the Lord, we can make sure that we are not carrying the vasanas, we are carrying the samskara. Okay, a more subtler thing which comes through, why can we serve the Lord? What is there? Why we are able to serve the Lord? The point behind that is called as smaranam. We know the 9 processes of devotional service. Of it, the third one is smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam. So this is smaranam. If we are always remembering the Lord in every aspect of our life, in everything we do, while eating, while sleeping, while doing some service, while reading, while doing our office work, while traveling, any and every time in our day-to-day life, if we are always remembering the Lord, then we will carry the samskaras. Just remembering means what? Not just like the example which I gave, but actually remembering and doing the activities accordingly. So we are remembering that, yes, I have to, serve the Lord. You are remembering, and when the service comes, you are very happy and you are entering the service. That is how you are carrying forward the samskaras. That is how your A, B, C, D is happening. Association, book distribution, chanting, and eating, prasad, diet. That is happening. So when we do smaranam, we see that the vasanas we are keeping away and the samskaras we are holding tight in our hand and we are moving forward. So this Vishnu smaran, or remembering Lord Krishna at every point, during every breath of our life, will help us to make sure that this Purva Samskara Samskrita, this actually happens in our life also. Yeah, that is what is important. Okay, so this is what, yes, I will again share the screen. So that is what about the translation. Let us see what is the purport given by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Somebody wants to read? Please go ahead. The purport.
Yes, Mataji. Hello, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Carry on, Mataji. Very good.
Yeah, please read. Anybody?
Purport by Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma's impulse for creation arises solely from his previous impressions. All jivas get their nature conformably to their impressions of previous births, and accordingly, their activity can have a beginning. It is called the unseen, or the result of one's previous deeds. His natural impulse is formed according to the nature of the deeds done by him in the previous kalpa. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way.
Yeah. Okay, the first part we have already discussed. So how from the previous impressions, the new activities in this life are getting done. Okay, so we do many activities according to the previous impressions of our life. Just like some people are very positive, some people are very negative, optimistic, pessimistic, and some people are very practical. So these things are all from their previous impressions. This last point, which I have highlighted with the yellow color, it is also very, very important point. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. Yes, can somebody try to explain what does this mean? If somebody has understood, maybe we are going to discuss, but beforehand, if somebody wants to tell something about this statement, can you make a statement about this? Some of the eligible jivas also attend to office Brahma. Yes.
Actually, this refers to the fact that all of us, because we were permanently residing in the spiritual world, and then because we turned became bahirmukh from the Lord, and then they've come into the material world. But in the material world itself, the topmost position is of Brahma, and at some point of time or the other, we would have been Brahmas from whom they've fallen and degraded more and more, and they've become Baddha Jivas that we are. So if we perfect our life in every Janma, and then we start obtaining our spiritual bank balance keeps building up, then at the point of perfection of our life, we will also become attain to the office of Brahma in the material world.
Sudha Mataji ki jai. Perfectly understood. Yes, Mataji. Swati Mataji, you also want to say something about this? Very nice, Mataji.
Mataji, I want to ask one thing. Thinking is vasana and doing is samskara. Is it right, Mataji?
No, Mataji. No. Thinking and doing about material things is vasana. I love my wife. I like my house. I am very attached to my wealth. I am very attached to my car. I am very much attached to my job. I am very much attached to my dog. These are all vasanas. Even if you are to your spouse also, you are overly attached, that is also vasana. But if you are very much attached to Krishna, very much attached to working for Krishna, doing devotional service for Krishna, any spiritual aspect, A, B, C, D, if you are attached to all these four things, I only like to eat prasad. I will never eat something from the hotels. This is all samskaras, right? So if you are attached to material things, it becomes a vasana. But if you are working towards your spiritual elevation, it becomes a samskara.
Okay. If it comes to spiritual means it is samskara. Whatever material is vasana.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. So let us again concentrate on this particular line. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. Yes, very rightly told by Sudha Mataji that we jivas, any of the jivas can take the post of Brahma, can reach to the post of Brahma, provided there are some rules. Like in one lecture I had heard that if a particular jiva for continuous 100 lifetimes, he is observing, he is following all the purificatory processes of a grihastha life or a brahmachari life perfectly. He is a perfect grihastha. In suppose there is a grihastha who is a perfect grihastha for 100 births. Now there is a difference between grihastha and griha medhi. Just as somebody is very attached to his wife, children, property, wealth, he is a griha medhi. If he is accumulating everything for his pleasure, he is a griha medhi. But what we are saying is of a grihastha, applying everything for the pleasure of the Lord. My wife is also as a given to me as a property of the Lord. My children are given to me as the property of the Lord. I have to maintain the house, maintain my family as the property of my Lord. I will do everything for the pleasure of the Lord. He is performing all the samskaras for a grihastha, for the pleasure of the Lord, for 100 lifetimes. He becomes eligible to become a Brahma. Or again, as just like Sudha Mataji said, if You are the first time when you came from the Lord's abode, from the spiritual world, you are very pure. There is no contamination. There are no material desires. Then maybe that time you are the first birth which you get is of Lord Brahma. So either your first birth is of Brahma, or after 100 very successful births as a Grihastha or as a Brahmachari, very successful births for 100 years, then you can get the post of Brahma. But it is possible that you become Brahma one day or the other. Okay. So and at that time you will be there on the lotus flower, thinking of how to create, thinking of what should I create. Yes, if a very empty house is given to you and you are told you decorate this house as you want, yes, your imagination will run. Okay, I want the sofa set to be here. I want the television to be here. I want the dining table to be here. No, this is not the correct place. This is the correct place. So you work on it according to your, again, your previous impressions. You can think of a particular modeling of the house according to what you have already seen. And you will want to have something like that. Like that, you will also get a position of Brahmaji, and you will be there on the lotus flower trying to do the creation with the help of the supreme potency of the Lord. Okay, so this is all about the shloka. Some again revision, some 2, 3 takeaway points. 3 takeaway points. First is that Athato Brahma Jigyasa. We should think about who am I, from where I have come, and what is the purpose of my life. Second thing, take the samskaras, not the vasanas, with you. And third thing, the last point, it is always possible for us to become a Brahma if we spend our 100 lifetimes very successfully in our particular ashram. Then it is possible. So this is all about this shloka which I could think of, I could recollect and present it on to you. If there are any suggestions, I don't know whether I will be able to answer some questions. I'm not the particular person to answer the question, but still, if there are some points to be discussed, yes, 5 minutes we can give for that.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the beautiful lecture, Mataji. Mataji, thinking about Vasana and Samskara, I'm seeing all around people having Vasana. So if it is carried life after life, how they can break that cycle, vicious cycle, and come into the real path, Mataji, and what we can do for them?
Yes,
right.
First thing is, yes, very, very nice question, Mataji. First thing is to remember, to know that Urlabha Manava Janma. Getting a human form of life is very, 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 very rare. You are most fortunate person that you have got a human body. And the door back to Goddess is only through human life, only through human body. You cannot go back to Godhead from any other species. Bharat Maharaj, he was such a great devotee of the Lord. After becoming a deer, he was conscious. He did not enjoy his material life as a deer at all. He went to the ashrama of different sadhus and he stayed there and he heard the Bhagavatam Katha. But after the death, as a deer, he couldn't go back to Godhead. That was not possible. He had to again take a birth of Jad Bharat, and only through human form of life, he could go back to Godhead. So this human form of life which we have got is the only door to Godhead. Just like you think of a merry-go-round. You are sitting in the merry-go-round. Everybody of us is sitting on one chamber of that merry-go-round. When can you get down of that merry-go-round? Only when you have a human birth. Only when you come down, In the merry-go-round, when you touch the ground, your chamber touches the ground, then only you can get out of that merry-go-round. If you are on the top, you cannot get out from there. Even if you are on the side, you cannot get out from there. Only when you are at the down position, you can get out. So this down position is the human form of life. Only from here, you can go out to go back to your original position. Otherwise, if you miss out this human form of life, again, you go to that merry-go-round. Sometimes you are an elephant, sometimes a deer, sometimes a cow, sometimes a mosquito, sometimes a tree, maybe a tree, sometimes something else, and this will go on. Janma Mrityu Jara Vadika Chakkar, we will never come out of this particular vicious cycle. Therefore, this human form of life, take full advantage of this life completely. That is why this samskaras, doing it on ourselves also, as it is important to do it on the children, similarly, it is important to do it on ourselves also. We have to make ourselves completely Krishna conscious. Completely take the association of devotees, completely take the shelter of your guru, completely surrender yourself to the service of Lord Krishna. Then, if not this life, at least you will confirm that your next life is again a human form of life. Then only you can get out of this.
Yes, Mataji, that I understood. But I have some atheists in my house and my extended family. So I was thinking what we can do for them.
They are, if you are chanting in front of them, they are hearing. Agyat Sukruti. If you are cooking and feeding them prasad, they are eating prasad. You are a devotee, they are getting your association. When you are chanting, they are hearing. When you are reading Bhagavatam, read it little bit louder, they are hearing. So due to this Agyata Sukruti, this devotional, unka jo bowl of devotion is there, little you are filling into that. Without their knowledge. Without their knowledge, you are helping them to go towards the Lord. But ultimately, again, they have their own free will. Yes. What you can do, you बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में आप घोड़े को पानी तक लेके जा सकते हैं, उसको पानी पिला नहीं सकते. It's the same thing for your children, for your family members, for your relatives, for your friends. You can guide them, you can preach them, but you cannot force them to do it. You know, yes, if they have that sukruti, they will accept it. Just as I gave the example of the children. No, some child he will very easily accept. The other child does not accept at all. So again, it is their previous birth's impression they are carrying with them. These are the individual entities. Now, our attachment should not be even to that also. My family members are not coming. That hankering should be there that my family members have to come. But our attachment in that manner, they are not coming. So, you know, we can easily get attached to that also. So we have to remember that every entity in your house also, they are individual entities. You can guide them, you can preach them, you can ask them, you can request them, but you cannot force them to do these things. Ultimately, it is their life, their cycle of birth and death. So if they take it, they will go out of it. If they cannot take it, they have to again go through some difficult situations also. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Sorry.
Yes. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can you again say something about samskara and vasana, Mataji? Little bit.
Yeah, samskaras, yes, Mataji. Samskaras are those things which we cultivate for our spiritual benefit.
Okay, Mataji.
Let's say every day we tell children to offer fruits or leaves, tulsi. Even if you are offering tulsi leaf, we teach the children to offer tulsi leaf at the lotus feet of the Lord.
Okay, Mataji.
Only that activity also they are doing every day in their life. They are doing some sort of samskaras. We teach them to fold their hands and pray to the Lord after taking the bath, while leaving the house, while going for exams. We teach them. They do it. So these are all samskaras we are doing. But if they are attached to their body, their looks, their friends, their family members, that is all vasana. Okay, is it clear, Mataji?
So samskara we have to cultivate ourselves. Is it not, Mataji? Samskara we have to cultivate. We have to practice daily.
Cultivate vasanas. They will forcibly.
They will come out.
They will forcibly enter. We have to get rid of them. But
That's
samskaras we have to cultivate. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Yes,
thanks, Mataji. Thank you much.
Mataji, I have this question that you said that after 100 perfect grahastha births, you get a birth for Brahma. But
you become eligible to become Brahma.
Eligible to become Brahma, but I don't understand why anybody would want that, because at times Brahma has lost his control as well. Because we have seen time and again when Brahma has not recognized the Supreme Godhead himself, he has got lost and he got proud of his creations. So there have been instances like this that it has been shown that time and again that he has done such things. So please throw some light on this, Mataji.
So if you understand this, whatever you have said now, if you understand this, you will not want to become Brahma. Then you will want to.
That's what exactly my point is.
In your then you will want to make perfection in your devotional life and go back to Godhead only, no?
Yes,
Why to become
yes.
Brahma? That is the
Why
best.
to become?
That is
Yes.
the best, but not everybody will understand this, no? Just
Mm.
as a person who is working in an office, we will see, yeah, this manager, no, everybody is paying so much respect to him. I also want to become a manager. He will struggle to become a manager. Once he becomes a manager, he sees, oh, that CEO of the office, he is having more position than me. He is the highest position, CEO of office. I want to become CEO. He will struggle and become a CEO. Somebody's aim will be this. But the other person who is looking at it, this person is struggling so hard, becoming a manager, again struggling to get the higher position, but he's suffering so much in his life. I am a chaprasi, I am a peon in the office, but I am satisfied with what I have. I get a lot of time with my family. I get a lot of time to serve Krishna. I don't want these positions. So he will not become CEO, but he will be detached from his office and he will be very happy. That is the case of a devotee. A devotee will not aspire to become Brahmaji at some point.
Yes, exactly my point. Why to go and become Brahmaji? Like no stress. Thank you, Mataji.
So this that means you are a very good devotee, Mataji. You are on the perfect track.
Oh, thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Bhagavad Gita 14.26 also says the same thing, no, Mataji. Mam cha yo vyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That refers to the last line what you explained about Brahman.
Yes.
That has connection, right, Mataji? If you do the unfailing devotional service in all the circumstances, we can easily transcend the modes of material nature and come to the level of Brahma.
Yes.
Is it
Krishna
correct?
says, what is that? My divine Mataji, do you remember this sloka? I just saw it was
Mama Maya Durat.
Those who become take my shelter, they don't have to go in the clutches of Maya. They can transcend everything, come back to Godhead. I will take them back with me. So we want that track. We don't want to become Brahmaji. We don't want to get more and more entangled in a higher position. Is it not? Yes. Okay, Mataji, I think we should stop here.
Yes.
So,
Haribol, wonderful.
For giving me the opportunity.
Haribol.
उपस्थित गौर भक्तवृंद हरि बोल. Thank you.
Brahma Samhita ki
jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So please join us tomorrow morning. We will continue with these wonderful pastimes of what we are talking about. So please join us tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.